your busy day to hang out with me for a little bit. This is a little bit different approach and maybe one that we'll keep doing. But for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, I want to share with you just a snippet of some of the things we're paying attention to, we're looking at in curriculum design as we build out on-site, virtual, and online programs for all different types of professional development, but mostly around leadership development, how we build capacity within organizations in order to help drive performance, to meet and exceed the expectations of whoever it is that is counting on you to fulfill the responsibilities of your organization. So today I want to take you through a couple of things around what we're looking at with competencies and how do you actually build leadership skills. Hopefully you find this helpful and gives you some things to think about within your day. If you're not familiar with us here at the Pearman Group, we are continuing to expand our offerings and just invite you to a conversation if there's something that you're wondering if we do and how we might be able to support your organization. So with our live on-site, virtual, and on-demand programs, we're always looking for ways to keep it evidence-based. So I love to be able to look at what is the data, what does the research tell us? And then, as I note, with a sense of humor, how do we actually get this done in companies? So all of our content, especially now that we're building out this online platform, is very scalable. So whether you have 2 leaders or you have 3,000 leaders, right? We've got lots of availability within different customized pathways to work with you with 2 leaders or hundreds of leaders. And what we also know is engagement is critical. So the content has to be dynamic. And that is something that I continue to work at every single day. So whether you're just seeing me here for about 15 minutes today, whether you've met me in person, whether you are checking out our online learning courses, my commitment to you is to figure out, right, how we engage participants so that they can learn something new today. What does this have to do with our wider leadership program? Most of our time is spent in leadership development, whether it's emerging leaders, advancing leaders, or senior leaders. But what we know today in our organizations is the best leaders are continuous learners. And you've met maybe someone along the way who went, nope, I'm good at this. I don't need to get any better. And or they were miserable to work with or for. Maybe even for just today, it is your recommitment to what do you need to learn next. Now, one of the things that we do here is look at leadership competencies that are based in the research out there to design our courses, whether it's me on a stage with a keynote or a breakout session at a conference, or as we develop training programs that many of you within the organizations I get to visit every day have counted on me for the last 15 years full time in this capacity. And so I want you to think about what is it in your organization that you want your leaders to be able to do. Now, this set happens to be the majority of competencies that we write curriculum based off of. But think about now how you can apply a competency model to your own leadership development program, whether or not it's partnered with us, right? You may be looking in-house to say, how do we build bench strength? How do we build the next group of leaders coming through, whether they're people leaders, whether they're project leaders, whether they're technical or expert leaders, right? They are, right, how we build capacity in organizations. So you'll see as you peruse these different competencies that we work with, it's really understanding, right, what are the knowledge, skills, actions, and behaviors you want your leaders to be able to do. And simply by identifying those, then you can start mapping out your training plan, whether it's internal, whether you bring in contractors like myself, right? What do you actually want them to be able to do at the end of one session, after the end of 5 sessions? or whatever that type of program is, whether maybe it's virtual, maybe it's a mix. One of the things we're doing more and more of is I'm on site to kick it off, and then people are online taking courses with me, and then I see them on site again. And it's been a great way to combine and address different learning style needs, as well as just different ways to use content. So these happen to be the core competencies we use. Maybe for today, you want to think about your own leadership program and what are those core competencies your company, your business wants to make sure that every leader has. Another way that I look at leaders and learning is I break it down to a 50-30-20 rule. There are a couple of different models out there, but with a lot of time building this type of curriculum, pretty much over the last 30 years of my career, this is where I see some of the best results. So when we develop leaders, we need to engage them in three primary ways. One, some sort of set of stretch or challenge assignments. So they're taking on something new, they're overseeing a project there. And I'm going to give you a few more examples here in just a moment, but this is in their everyday on the job work. Number two, developmental relationships. So connecting them to meet with, mentor with, status with, whatever you call it in your organization, but different people in different departments inside and maybe even outside of your organization. What we recognize is when we do those well, there's huge learning capacity there. For me to sit with somebody else who's already walked it, and when we prepare that mentor and even get some cross mentorship out of it, those developmental relationships, I have found and continue to see evidence of really powerful ways we work. And then, of course, maybe one of my favorites, coursework and training. Now, 20%, right? So what we recognize in that is you can learn to be a leader without that. We're just not going to be as good of a leader without one of those three. Again, there's other models out there, but that's the one I would share with you for this time is, okay, beyond competencies in your organization, what is the right mix? And I have all sorts of sample ways to do that. So if there's something you're hearing from me today or you want some other examples, please reach out and I'll happily provide some more support. One of the questions I'm often asked is, what do I do with an emerging leader? What could they do on the job for some of those challenge or stretch assignments? So here's a list I love. Planning something new to you. So if I'm in this new lead role and I get tasked with, right, something new, what can I do with that? Starting something from scratch. So maybe it's not the first one, they're new to me, but it's been done before. So now I can go meet with a couple of people, find out what happened, and then I get to coordinate it this time. Or starting something from scratch, like building it, never been done before, at least within your organization or recent history, a little bit different type of learning with that. Fixing something that's broken, right? Improving on a process, on something with potential. Even taking on assignments outside of my own scope or location, right? What could that look like? Shadowing in different positions or departments so I can see things from new perspectives. Some organizations will have a formal shadowing process. If yours doesn't, maybe something you need to ask for is, hey, I would really like an hour in that department. Give that department heads up that you're coming and what you want to get out of that time. Maybe if your organization doesn't have a formal process like that set up, you might be able to start that from scratch. We're always looking for ways to increase responsibility, and that could be in scope. So some sort of complexity. This was project number 1, and now project number 2 has some other elements to it, or in scale. So now I started with a smaller project. Now I'm going to a little bit bigger project. And so any way we can coordinate or lead various types of projects, that can be also really helpful in just learning new components and helping make some of those connections within our own experience, or just part of what we want to try to do next. Here's what I want you to think about today. As we look at the potential within our organizations to build leadership capacity, we know here within our team that there's so much opportunity to do that right now. There have been so many ways over the last couple of years that we've had to move people pretty quickly. We've had some tap out early for retirement, right? There's lots of changes that have happened within our organizational structures these last few years. I want our teams and our organizations to be really intentional about how we build bench strength, putting together plans and programs, not only for succession planning of who's going to move into what spots, but what we also know is today's leader has to be a learner. With all the changes that we continue to adapt to and adjust for now and in the future, right? This ability to learn in real time is critical. We want to just invite you to reach out to us if there's something we can support with your own leadership development planning within your team, within your company. And if you haven't checked out our new online courses, we have content available free at courses.drcelinapierman.com. We also have lots of options for hosting and customizing your leadership development program on our system, taking some of that added responsibility that you're carrying, shifting it over to us so that we can support and create a robust plan for you. So whether, again, it's a couple of people or many people, we can't wait to see what we can help with next. I wish you all the best. Reach out with any questions. Maybe today it was thinking about competencies. Maybe today it was thinking about what else could you work on or learn. And I'm excited to continue to partner with you. And as we go forward, learn something new together. Take care, everybody.